Hello and welcome to the PreVeil University introductory video. My name is Noelle Vestal and I am the Compliance Officer here at PreVeil, and I'll be explaining what PreVeil University is and how it can help you achieve your compliance goals. I've worked in the DoD space for most of my career, managing IT programs with multiple different DoD agencies. I've also managed the CMMC implementation effort for a small business member of the DIB. It was with these experiences and lessons learned in mind that myself and our compliance experts created the training and education solutions we'll be reviewing today. So what is PreVeil University? We're going to discuss that here, as well as an overview of an example company created for the use of PreVeil University, a review of documentation, SOPs, a review of PreVeil University training, and more information. What is PreVeil University? PreVeil University is a collection of documentation and training videos to help ease some of the stress found along the path to compliance. PreVeil University supplies PreVeil customers with our original compliance documentation, which includes the SSP, POAM, and policy templates, along with a customer responsibility matrix in multiple versions. The addition of standard operating procedures, or SOPs, that documentation for all associated processes and procedures that companies need to complete their compliance journey based on an example DIB company created with our customers' infrastructure in mind. PreVeil University is also training videos demystifying many of the most complicated NIST800-171 controls, complete with certified C3PAO representatives to explain their assessment process for those controls and how companies can achieve their assessment objectives. So why do I need SOPs, or standard operating procedures? Most companies who are familiar with the compliance process and requirements presented within NIST800-171 understand the need for policies to establish the baseline requirements found throughout the 110 NIST800-171 controls. However, the procedural documentation is just as important in any company's compliance journey. Think of the policy as stating what your company will do, and the SOP documentation is how that policy will be enforced, enacted, and supported. The policy alone is not usually enough to fully address a NIST800-171 control. Most controls require evidence-based documentation related to the process of how that control is addressed within the company. This need for addressing the how a control is addressed within a company is where many companies struggle, and which is why PreVeil, in order to ease the burden on DIB companies regarding compliance, created the PreVeil University SOP documentation that we will be reviewing today. Before we get into the review of the SOPs, we need to discuss the example company. In order to create the standard operating procedures we're going to be reviewing today, we had to have a company in existence to be able to use as an example. Note, PreVeil University documentation and videos are specifically tailored to this example company, the one that we're going to be reviewing. It is only a guide and should not be used by any company in its as-is state. PreVeil is not liable for any customer who does not do their due diligence and update this example to fit their specific system, business process, and/or environment. It is still the customer's responsibility to address all security, cybersecurity, and compliance-related requirements. And with that understanding, let's move on to the example company. In order to create these example procedural documents, we at PreVeil took information from our more than 700 customers to create a fictitious defense industrial-based company that would need to address CMMC/NIST800-171 practices/controls. This company is using Microsoft 365 Commercial and several other technologies and tools along with PreVeil to address their compliance needs. This company is 20 employees, some on-site at an office, some remote, and others at a government location. The company has created an enclave for CUI and FCI within the PreVeil environment. So no digital CUI or FCI will be stored or transmitted outside of this PreVeil enclave. The company also has one filing cabinet at their headquarters office that does contain paper CUI, but does not allow for CUI to be stored or transmitted outside of the location of the filing cabinet at the company headquarters location. Now that we've reviewed the example company, we can start the review of the standard operating procedures associated with that company. The following slides are screenshots of example procedural documentation that will be included in the PreVeil University documentation package. We will be walking through some of these documents to help understand the formatting of these documents, the information presented within these documents, and how these documents support a company's compliance journey. The first SOP document we're going to review today is the Incident Response Plan. One of the documents within the PreVeil University SOP documentation bundle is the Incident Response Plan. This document supports the multiple controls within the incident response family of controls within NIST 800-171. This plan is essential for addressing many of the controls and for supporting policies related to incident response. As you can see here, this is an example of screenshots directly from the PreVeil University Standard Operating Procedures Incident Response Plan. Each one of these different SOPs will have general information, usually an overview, and in this case, we have very specific appendices that you can see in the front, which is representative of an incident response team call tree. The information that is within the incident response goes into in-depth understanding of the different phases of incident response and what those processes would look like, including fake information about people, processes, email addresses, etc. The next SOP document we will review today is the Configuration Management Procedural Documentation. One of the documents within the PreVeil University SOP documentation bundle is the Configuration Management Procedures. This document supports multiple controls within the configuration management family of controls within NIST 800-171. These procedures are essential for addressing many of the controls and for supporting policies related to configuration management. As you can see here, there's a very similar outline and a very similar format to the incident response plan. You have general information and usually an overview section. There's also multiple screenshots within the configuration management procedures discussing multiple different ways to manage and to baseline configuration within a company. And again, as you can see here, there is information regarding employees and their roles and their information, again, for the fictitious company. The final family that we will discuss today is access control. One of the documents within the PreVeil University SOP documentation bundle is the Access Control Procedures. This document supports multiple controls within the access control family of controls within NIST 800-171. These procedures are essential for addressing many of the controls and for supporting policies related to access control. Access control is one of the families that is slightly different from and strays away from the formatting that we've seen in configuration management and incident response. These are some screenshots from Excel files talking about the user access list, physical access list, and company asset inventory lists, all three of which are essential for access control procedures. And as you can see, again, we have the same individuals that were referenced in the other SOPs that are listed here as well. Now that we've reviewed the SOP procedural documentation, we can move on to the PreVeil University training videos. In addition to the SOPs, PreVeil University consists of videos for each of the 14 NIST 800-171 control families. Each family will have its own dedicated video discussing each control family at a high level, then discussing a few of the controls from the fictitious company and how they were addressed based on the documentation for that control within that family's SOP documentation. In addition, the specific controls implemented will be reviewed in the same video and evaluated and discussed with one of PreVeil's C3PAO partners. The C3PAO will also discuss how they would assess each control reviewed and how the documentation supports the fulfillment of those controls. Looking for more information on PreVeil University? If you're interested in more information about PreVeil University's training videos and SOP documentation offerings, please contact sales@preveil.com. Thank you so much for your time.